The events industry has changed. For the last 20 years, I've had the fortunate opportunity to speak all over the world in front of thousands of people. And now, here we are in this new virtual world, where all we hear is that people have short attention spans. But if that were true, then why do we watch full-length movies and binge watch our favorite TV shows with our entire family? The truth is that people don't know how to engage, educate, and inspire in this new virtual world. And there's one thing that we know for sure: we definitely can't do it with a webcam. We have to have the right camera, professional lighting, but most importantly, quality audio that pierces through that screen, capturing your attention. This is my studio, designed to reimagine the virtual keynote experience. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be mine? Would you be mine? Hey there, neighbor. Now, obviously, that's not my line. That's actually from Mr. Rogers, who to this day is one of the greatest teachers and influencers of all time. And you know the best part? He did it all virtually. We used to be on a stage looking at thousands of people, but now if you're watching this, I mean, their world has changed.
Yeah.
And they maybe don't have a green screen, but they've got an office where they can't reach out and grab someone's hand. They can't have that eye contact. They can't have things that typically tell us, is this working? Am I on track? Am I off track? Hello and welcome. I want to thank you for joining us today, and thank you for inviting me to guide you through this next keynote. Now, before we get started, I want to make you a couple promises and give you a little bit to think about as far as what to expect today. First, the last thing that any of us want to do is listen to a talking head for an entire hour. So we've got multiple experiences lined up for you here today. And so you're going to have to get used to different versions of René. Going to be versions of René that are going to be in front of a group, delivering different messages to you, always coming back to here. But there's a very special version of René that is actually live with you right now. He's going to be there commenting. In fact, hey, can we go over to that other René real quick? Oh, hey, what's going on? Yeah, no, oh, dude, this content's great, man. I'm super excited. In fact, I really liked that. Oh, I don't want to give it away, but please make sure to comment, because I'm going to be here focused. I'm going to be here listening, and don't leave me hanging. Let's comment and have some good conversations. We'll talk to you soon. In fact, back to you, buddy. So let's make sure that he stays engaged and has his work cut out for him. So as we're going, please feel free to comment live, ask questions, and he will be there engaging with you. I'm going to ask Carlos to zoom in and give me the zoom look, which is probably right about here, going up. And I'm going to keep my hands in the old influence zone, and I'm going to use my hands and talk about how excited I am to be here. But now the problem is you can't see my hands. And so the influence zone is now up here. And so for this presentation, you're going to have two camera views. We're going to have this one, which is what you look like on a Zoom call. And then we're going to have a second view over here, which is this is how it feels. And so we're going to give you the behind the scenes look. This is what we call breaking the fourth wall. So you can see what it looks like on how we look and how we feel on Zoom versus over here, how we actually show up on Zoom. The next challenge you got is this. Let's just analyze what's the psychology of me wearing sunglasses out of context. And the reason why poker players wear this, and the reason why indoors it seems shady, is because you can't see my eyes. And my eyes are what communicate meaning. We do that accidentally, sometimes through poor lighting. Or we accidentally do that just by bad reflection, right? So now, because of this, what's happening in this reflection, you can't see my eyes. We have to trigger norepinephrine, and we have to trigger dopamine. Dopamine is triggered through novelty, right? Novelty, something new, something different. And so this is novel, bringing a prop on stage. It's new, you weren't expecting it. Moving your hands creates novelty, right? Novelty is something new. And so we love using props, especially in a virtual world. The sunglasses, when I put those on, that is a novel thing to do. Novelty, what? Wears off. away. So you need the second piece, which is norepinephrine. Norepinephrine is created through tension. So how do you... Oh, gosh. Okay, so how do you create
that
tension?
That was unplanned.
Right. So that is how you create tension. So do you feel that sort of that?
Yeah.
Go through your body. Now, that tension captures attention. So novelty and tension create attention. We're going to start right away, and I'm going to see who's first. Andy, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what makes you unique?
Okay.
So now, see, he's already 2 ums in. So Andy, I'm going to pull you off stage for a minute. So now, this is how this works. That's the time that you have to be able to influence. And if someone says, hey, Johnny, tell us about you. Well, I'm thinking that everybody knows you weren't ready. This was your first time. And so we are going to up the intensity of this next 45 minutes to be able to address these things. And every time I hear you say, you're going to hear that. I want you to have fun with it, though. This isn't about shame. This isn't about failure. This is about creating self-awareness in real time. I want to play a little game with you. I want you to say the letters A through J as fast as you can. Go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Did you beat me? All right, now I want you to count to 10 as fast as you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But here's what I really want you to do. I want you to tell me a letter and then a number. So A1, B2, C3, etc. And get all the way to J. A1, B2, C3, D4, E5. And right past E, it starts getting a little bit difficult. See, what's happened is you've begun to multitask. And your brain starts to work in overdrive. And here's the secret. It's just not that efficient. That's what happens when we lose focus. Right now in today's market, everything is competing for your focus and your attention. We are in a battle of trust and attention. Now I'm going to ask you a question. How many of each animal did Moses bring on the ark? Now most of you are probably thinking 2, but the answer, as we know, is 0 because it wasn't Moses. It was Noah. So that's our system 1 at play. It looks at Moses and Noah and looks at it contextually close enough to think, you know what? Contextually close enough, forget the details, give the answer and win. My question was, what happens here, right there, at that moment that it enters our world, or maybe our conscious awareness? Because it's in that moment that an idea is either accepted or it's rejected. The psychological value equation. And really what it says is V stands for value. Your value is equal to the expected benefits. That's your ability to communicate. This is what you get when you work with me. And if you have a presentation or something, that should be expected benefits, right? This is the value proposition that I'm offering you, multiplied by their confidence that I can actually get them. So the confidence has to be high. That's where we get into branding, testimonials, referrals, your office space, the way you carry yourself. All of that stuff is about creating confidence minus the cost of doing business with you. With all of my heart, I implore you, please begin to embrace this new world because there are still customers that need to be served. There are still people out there with questions. There are still people out there in this business that shouldn't be answering those questions. So guess what? They need you to get out there in front of that. We're the only eyes, ears, hands that this world has to make it better. We're the only voices that we have to make this a better place. And not any one of us alone can do it. And it's easy, I think, for all of us to feel small in a world that's so big. Just like every raindrop never feels responsible for a flood. But yet we all are contributing in some way, shape, or form. And so now that you know what's possible, now that you know what's possible when your heart can speak in a sequence that aligns with this one thing we all have in common, our brains, now you have the obligation to continue, to push harder, to express deeper, to explore your life even further, to smile brighter, to connect even more profoundly. I want you to practice. Put in the discipline so that you can have that great feeling of surrender in those moments of performance so you can find that flow of true expression. I wish all of you that sense of freedom, of having your heart to be able to speak in a sequence that affects people and moves this world forward. Thank you so much. I love you all.
Thank you. The Rock.
The Rock? In this virtual world, the keynote experience has changed. In a live event, we have an entire stage to run around on, audience energy, music production, hundreds of thousands of dollars spent to create an amazing experience. And of course, we can move on to things like branding, and then visual aids are critical, but not just putting up a PowerPoint slide. We need to be able to move things around and see things to make sure that the eye is paying attention. And if we really want to have fun, we can do things like 3D animations and graphics and take a look at something as fun as a brain moving on screen. But if we want to get serious, then sometimes we have to use things like music to get that point to come across. Or maybe something sad and change the music to get us to reflect and to ponder on a very important thought. But sometimes we got to raise the level of energy and get people excited and make them feel excited about what's going on. And of course, music and lighting and audio and everything plays into that. And of course, audience participation is critical to be able to answer questions in a fun and unique way, and for the audience to see that they're part of this event. That is what creates intimacy. And so all of this is possible in a virtual event, and we are ready for your challenge. I still can't believe you do that, all that live. Can you put that brain back up for me?
Sure.